Aquaman number 16, written by Jeff Johns, art by Paul Pelletier. This is the next part of Throne of Atlantis. And last issue, Justice League got taken, Cyborg wanted his lungs taken out, and they brought in the B team. So we pick up with Cyborg, who is currently on the operating table, and he's just like, yeah, Dad, go ahead, do it, take out my lungs. And he's like, okay, well, we need to take you offline. And he's like, oh, I don't like that. So at that point, Dr. Ivo, I believe, I could be wrong. Regardless, one of the doctors is like, hey, let me activate Red Tornado. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. And then all of a sudden on the computer, it turns out that Cyborg is trying to defragment the video file that would show who launched the missile on the ship, even while he's unconscious. So that's going on. Meanwhile, Volko and Dr. Shin are up at the watchtower. They're watching all the stuff that happened on the news. And Volko's like, hey, didn't you betray Arthur before? Aren't you kind of a dick? And Dr. Shin's like, I'm sorry, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Volko. I'm loyal to the king, and I will never betray him. And that's why I don't particularly like you. So at that point, Dr. Shin is like, okay, well, whatever. Where did they take the League? And it's just like, oh, well, Orm must have given them a death sentence, and he banished them to the dark waters. And we see Aquaman has broken out of his little cocoon thing that he's put all of the Justice League in, and he comes across Batman's cocoon. He's already awake, and he's trying to cut his way out, and he's like, yeah, I'll be out in a minute. And Aquaman's like, it's actually crushing pressures down here. You probably should stay in there. And he's like, I'm fine with pressure. And he's like, not this pressure. So he calls on some fish with bioluminescence to come and light up their way. But Batman's like, hey, I got sonar. I can just show you where we are. And he shows them a sonar mapping of where they have landed. And just like, yeah, we're in a mid-Atlantic trench. This is right where I brought the trench out of. Like, they were right here. And it's possible that maybe they got undug again, in which case we got some big issues. So anyway, the anglerfish show up, and then they're immediately attacked by the trench. And it's just like, crap, they're here. Okay, Batman, we got issues. We need to find Superman and Wonder Woman. Where they at? And it's like, okay, well, they probably are even deeper down in the trench where there is some sort of temple that was carved out many, many centuries ago. So we got to head down there. And basically, they're just talking about, like, okay, here's the thing. Is Orm guilty? Like, did he trigger the missile strike himself? People are questioning who did what now. But either way, we go back up on land, and the B team are fighting back the Atlanteans. We got Hawkman, Black Lightning, Vixen, Firestorm, Black Canary, Element Woman, and someone who's really tiny, who, I think that's the Atom? I don't know. Regardless, they're all just like, oh man, I can't believe we're called in. What's going on, everybody? And Hawkman's like, I'm going to kill everybody. And they're like, okay, Hawkman, you do your thing. But then they're all blown away by Orm, who just comes in being like, all right, we're going to put a bomb there, and we're going to put a bomb over there. And they, he starts screaming, saying like, oh yes, they will know the power of Atlantis. So then we see Cyborg. He's dreaming of having a normal life, and then his suit, like the actual cyborg parts of him, shows up and be like, hey, you got to wake up now. And he's like, no. So he wakes up, and he's like, all right, I can breathe underwater now? Sweet. I've also got a lock on Batman's homing beacon, which is somewhere in the mid-Atlantic. And he goes up to Mara, and he's like, hey, you want to go? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So we see Aquaman and Batman are down in this temple area. Batman starts scanning the walls of the temple to see what is written on them. And it's just like, it looks like some sort of Atlantean king with a crazy-ass scepter sinking some part of the land. And it's like, yeah, I actually came across that scepter in my own story, and I kind of lost it. I assume that Orm took it. And he's like, okay, well, there's a second image, and it's of the trench, and the person with the scepter is leading the trench. And it's like, I'm sorry, are you telling me that those creatures can be led by the scepter, and my brother has it, and those creatures are attacking us? Crap, my brother is the evil one. So they come across Superman and Wonder Woman, who are inside like some paralyzing goop stuff, and he tries to get them out, but the trench, of course, immediately come after them and attack them. And Aquaman is overrun before he can do literally anything. Batman is still stuck in his cocoon, not able to do much. But of course, at that point, Mara and Cyborg pop out through a boom tube, and they're like, hey, we're here to help. Turns out they don't like loud noises, so Cyborg sonic cannons them, breaks out Wonder Woman and Superman, who are still a little bit weak because of the paralyzing goo, and it's just like, okay, So why are we all here under the water, and who's protecting the land? And Cyborg's like, sorry, had to call in the B team. And they're like, Cyborg, you shouldn't have done that. Hawkman's up there. He's messed up, man. It's like, yeah, we know. I literally did not have a choice. But as they start deliberating, there's just like, okay, but hold on. If my brother has the scepter and the scepter can sink the land, why would he not just already do that? And then we see the Atlanteans' point of view, where the trench have started attacking them, and they're like trying to fight them off. And it's just like, what creatures are these? What's going on? This is genuinely surprising to me. And then back in the lab, the video that Cyborg was defragmenting has managed to be defragmented, and he's sharing that video with the League. And one thing after another, all of it just builds up to the reveal that the big mastermind behind this whole thing, and the person who holds the scepter currently, is Volko, the guy who is totally loyal to Arthur. He has stepped up and he's like, yep, when he left Atlantis, Atlantis turned against me. So now I'm getting my vengeance for that. So Volko's the big bad. I gotta say, I didn't see it coming. It was genuinely surprised, but they made it work out. At least what they're describing so far. A general vengeance plot, him coming back up. He figured Aquaman would probably be enough to break Orm into submission. It makes sense in that standpoint. As for the writing of this issue, perfectly good. I don't see any real flaws with it. My only thing is that they're really, 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 really wanting to do this Red Tornado, like lampshade hanging. They're like, hey guys, anybody remember Red Tornado? He could be right here. Anybody interested? And I'm like, aren't we doing an Atlantis thing? I feel like we should focus on that. But regardless, I do think this is a solid issue. Overall, I'd give it I'll give it a 7.5. No, I'll bump it up to an 8. I think that the reveal of Volko at the end is surprising enough and well done enough that it works. I think that it is a solid reveal, solid twist to the story. So this one's an 8. Looking forward to seeing, I think, how they wrap it up either next issue or the issue after. So we'll see where it is.